Hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Hope you're having a good night. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I got sidetracked with the Silent Hill 2, and there was no save spot, so I was just like stuck in a very difficult area after doing some very horrific things, and I'm like, I don't really want to quit here and have to redo said difficult things. I hope you're all having a good Friday. I can't believe it's already the weekend. And oh my gosh, guys, I forgot we ended off at the start of chapter B. And we got probably the longest lore drop ahead of us here. Can't beat orange juice, guys. $4 orange juice. That's insane. Last time it was $8. I'm so glad it's like $3 again. All right, let's get this started. Let's get this rolling. Oh, I feel like I have a laugh that I have a cackle now, and I kind of don't like the cackle because it reminds me of somebody else.
I was reminded about something from my past. Maybe my mind has been confusing her with my sister this whole time. Anyway.
Muzzleloader Runners Core 1 says, hey there King and the Sandwich Kitties. How's it going tonight?
Oh my gosh, that was weird. Does it do the other
Shadow
one?
1 Mom says, hello everyone, how's it going? Smiley face.
I saw both of them and I'm like, whoa, that's weird. Hey guys, it's going pretty good. Hope your Friday is going pretty good. My mouse is being all sorts of bonkers weird tonight. I don't think it likes anything sitting on top of a specific cable. Actually, I really should be using the gosh dang it, mouse, work for me. My mouse does not want to work for me, guys. What do you do when your mouse just doesn't work for you? Do you fire it? I don't think I can fire my mouse, sadly. All right, I replugged it. Okay, I guess that is kind of like firing because I killed it to revive it to force it to work for me. Sorry, Silent Hill 2 has put me into a kind of a weird place. My son would rather stream than play Minecraft with me. I'm so sorry, Shadow Mom. I have been really busy today. I did all the dishes today. It was crazy. I not only did the dishes, I also got to play a little bit of Mario Jamboree, which was fun, and then I did a lot of actual work, which was crazy. All right, you guys ready for this? To be honest, I'm not really even streaming. I'm just gonna be visual noveling this entire time. Well, you didn't do mine. I wish I could have, honestly. I kind of like doing dishes to a point. It's fun. Granted, I have to have a very specific sponge to make it fun, right? All right, let's dive into this very sad story that we're about to read. The sound of rain filled the village. The steep cliffs that surrounded the area magnified.
GF17810 says, hello everyone, waving hand.
Hey, Edgy, it's going pretty good. How's it going for you? I hope you're having a good night. Causing even the slightest drizzle to rattle like a thunderstorm. Thin wisps of smoke streamed from huts as the villagers huddled in their homes and waited out the rain. A single child, however, had braved the downpour and was now wandering slowly toward the wooden hawk-shaped weather vane at the center of town. The wanderer reached the vane, which had existed for as long as any could remember, and stared. The child's face was simultaneously delicate and fierce, like a teacup that had survived a shipwreck.
Pull the lever, Grunk. Why do we even have that lever?
She stared at the wrong weather vane. Those traits combined with pale white skin. Okay, I thought the music just stopped there. Pale white skin to give the face an almost sexless quality. If the beak turns east, I go home. If it stays west, then I The child blinked. The rain slowly dripped down from the young one's short hair and began its long descent to the ground. Cheddar shot. I wish I could. He's not really in here with me. He's out eating all the food. Come on. Come on! The child felt a slight breeze and watched as the veins slowly creaked to life, spinning this way and that way for a moment. It finally settled with the beak pointing firmly toward the east. East? Really? Before the vein could move again, a jagged rock came spinning and tumbling through the air, striking home against the child's head. The force of the blow dropped the child to the ground as a hail of stones began to fall all around.
He's so fluffy, I'm gonna die! So fluffy!
I feel like that's out of place, but okay. Got out of work earlier than usual tonight, which was nice. Back on Sunday, though. That sucks. Yeah. I'm glad I have the full weekend. It's really nice. Oh no! They found me! A heartbreaking smile crept across the child's face as the stones continued their assaults. Through the rain, the sound of multiple footsteps grew louder before a voice rang out. Yoo-hoo! Kaine! A voice belonged to Demo, worst of all the bullies in the area. As Kaine struggled to stand, a final stone came skittering through the mud and bounced against her foot. Blood oozed from a cut above her eye and blurred her vision, but she could make out the shapes of Demo and his usual gang of idiots. The boy seemed taken aback for a moment by Kaine, seeming indifference to the blood dripping from her face, but quickly regained his bravado. What's up, freak? You like the rain? You like getting all wet? Or did you finally decide to run away from home? Though she knew it was futile, Kaine turned to leave. Before she could get more than a few steps, the other children scrambled to surround her, cruelty burning in their eyes. Kaine knew those were not the only eyes on her. The tormentor's parents watched from the safety of their homes. She was attuned to the sensation. It was one she had experienced many times before. While some villagers simply turned a blind eye to the actions of their children, many encouraged it openly. In a society ruled by superstition and fear, Kaine was something to be hated, and if possible, destroyed. I didn't say you could leave, freak. Demo's words chewed at her like a worm through an apple. He can't hurt me, she lied to herself. Be strong, be brave. He can't hurt me, he can't hurt me, he can't hurt. Oh, look, the little freak is gonna cry. What's wrong? Are you sad that everyone hates you and wants you dead? Hey, Muzzle. Oh, sorry, I thought that was Hoodis. I saw the purple and I'm like, it's Hoodis. I actually had McDonald's again. I was lazy tonight. Tomorrow will be something HelloFresh, though. I think it's gonna be hamburgers. How about yourself? Kaine prayed for the rain to flood down and carry her away from the world that seemed to have no place for her. But if there were gods, they chose to ignore her. As Demo crept closer, the clouds began to thin and the rain slowed. Even the weather hates me. I'm useless, a failure. I wish Demo's rock had taken my head off. Kaine couldn't meet Demo's leering gaze. She lowered her eyes and stared at the muddy ground below. The bully moved forward until he was inches away. She could smell the scent of old meat on his breath. The boy grabbed Kaine's face with thick fingers and yanked it upwards. She tried to turn away, but he forced her gaze back and jammed his thumb against her eyelid to pry it open. Show me. No. Did you just say no? Demo grinned evilly. You don't say no to me. No one says no to me. Ooh, pork chops, rice with gravy and peas. That's pretty good. Also, can we just agree, Kaine has probably one of the most traumatizing backstories by far. This really explains why she hates towns in general. Even though people might accept her, she just does not accept people in general. Not even taking his attention from Kaine, he called to his cohorts. Come on, guys, let's give this freak what she deserves. As soon as Demo finished, kicks and blows began to rain down upon Kaine. Demo paused, still grinning, as Kaine curled into a ball and tried to make the pain stop. I don't get you, freak. What you acting like a girl for, huh? Everyone knows what you really are. Kaine ignored the question, choosing instead to stare at the weather vane, and continued to point east, as if supremely confident about the future it had chosen for her. Go home? Yeah, that's a funny joke for someone with dead parents and no home to go to. Freak, chanted the children. Freak, freak, freak! Kaine closed her eyes and listened to the rain, waiting for the pain to start again. As the clutching hands of the village children closed around her, she bent her mind to the sound of the rain, letting it become her world entire. The rain fell. But the pain never came. Only when the laughter of her tormentors turned to terrified cries did she dare open a single blood-caked eye. Kaine was shocked to see Demo sprawled on the ground, holding his head and screaming in pain. She could see blood welling from spaces between his fat, twisted fingers. Oh my god, he's crying. He's actually crying. Deprived of their leader, the other children glanced back and forth between themselves, as if waiting for someone to step forward and take charge. When no savior emerged, they began to uneasily shuffle away from Kaine. But the young girl was at the least of their concerns. Instead, their attention was wrapped on the ancient woman standing a few feet away.
My nerves are fried from riding on this emotional roller coaster!
After struggling for breath for a moment, she finally spoke in a voice thick with rage. Hurts like a bitch, don't it? Now I suggest you scatter before I throw another one. And if any of you little bastards ever touch Kaine again, I'll do far worse than throw a rock. You can count on it. The old woman crouched down and gently touched the hand Demo was using to cover the wound. Before he could think to protest, she ground her palm into the wound and twisted back and forth. Ow! He screamed, leaping to his feet. Stop it! What are you doing? Quit whining. Ain't no one ever died from a scratch. You hit me with a rock, you stupid. A big one. That thing could have killed me. The old woman shrugged. Death is the best cure for stupid. Demo's face twisted with rage at her words, locking his eyes on Kaine. He took a step backward and spat on the ground. Get out! Leave this village. No one wants you here, either of you. Seeing the old woman grab another stone, Demo and his companions turned tail and ran. As they fled, the old woman grabbed her side and barked out a single laugh. Ha! Look at the fat boy go. Guess he's healthy enough to run from a fight. The woman's smile faded as she turned her attention to Kaine. Kneeling down, she removed her shawl and placed it around the young girl's shoulders.
Pink fluffy unicorns dancing on rainbows.
Alright, that was more appropriate there. Then produced a cloth from the folds of her dress and began blotting at the blood on her forehead. Oh, Kaine, she said, why didn't you fight back? You're stronger than that lot. The words of her grandmother stung Kaine. She turned away. Don't be nice to me, she said. I don't deserve it. Nothing matters anymore. Her tears, held in check for so long, finally began to fall on the muddy ground below. Everyone hates me. They think I cause bad things to happen. They think I'm a freak. I wish I was dead. As Kaine's tears turned to sobs, she felt her grandmother's hands on her shoulders. Despite her advanced age and diminutive size, she was a woman of surprising strength, and Kaine found herself unable to turn away. Don't talk like that, girl. It's a river wide and deep that flows between the realms of this world and the next, and it grants no mercy to any that attempt the crossing. You got a duty to fight until your last breath. Understand? The old woman tightened her grip and tried to still the tremor in her voice. You know the pain of losing someone close to you, Kaine. You know because you survived it. As the words hit home, Kaine was struck by the force of her love for the old woman. As a young child, she didn't even know of her grandmother, but when her parents died, the woman quickly accepted her as her own. Grandma, as Kaine called her, was cunning, vulgar, and quick to violence, and their first few years together had not been easy. Well, okay, this is very true to her backstory so far, right? She is very vulgar and very violent, so I guess she got that from her grandmother. But with each year that passed, Kaine and her grandmother had grown closer. However, it was only now, sitting in the mud with tears and blood-caked caking her face that Kaine truly understood the depths of her affection. Here was a woman who had seen hard times, who had seen death, who had fought through all these things and somehow emerged on the other side. If anyone could understand Kaine's pain and loneliness, it was her. Do I make you sick, Grandma? Course not! Don't be an ass. Kaine drew her grandmother's moth-eaten shawl around her body and shuddered. But my body, it's not normal. If I was normal, then Mom and Dad wouldn't. Hush, interrupted Grandma. I'll not hear another word of this nonsense. Thank you for the hydration. Oh my gosh, it's like my nose is just plugged. I can't stand it. There we go. I'll not hear another word of this nonsense. You're my granddaughter, and I love you. And if folks have a problem with that, they can just go to hell. With that, the old woman reached out and placed a wreath of dried flowers in Kaine's hair. The skill it took to bend the flowers without breaking the stems or losing a single petal was remarkable, and the beauty of it made Kaine want to cry all over again. Oh my gosh, these are lunar tears. Grandma, you made this for me? Lunar tears were legendary flowers. Most people could live their entire lives without ever seeing one, and yet her grandmother had somehow collected a dozen or more. Kaine reached up and touched the wreath as if she couldn't believe it was real. But where did you find these? Just stumbled on them while I was out doing the shopping. The old woman turned away as she spoke, leading Kaine to suspect that the search had been more difficult than she was letting on. The pains she took to construct the ornament, let alone track down the flowers used in its construction, made Kaine's heart hurt. She reached up and gently adjusted the wreath, admiring the way it felt between her fingers. Didn't quite turn out right, said her grandmother as she squinted at it. These old hands have trouble with delicate work, but it sure looks good on a pretty girl like you. Kaine blushed and turned away. You think I'm pretty? Of course you are. What a fool thing to say. Thank you, Grandma. Her grandmother smiled. We're gonna be fine, you and me, she said. Long as we got each other, we'll be just fine. Kaine took her grandmother's hands in hers, and the two of them struggled to their feet. As they began the long walk home, Kaine gripped the hand with all her might, as if trying to stop smoke from drifting away on her mind. The rain had stopped. Kaine stood beneath the weather vane, watching it spin in lazy circles, no longer caring about the direction it faced when it stopped. I don't need to escape. I have a home now. Grandma loves me, and that's enough. Even if it's us against the world. Kaine let her gaze drift up past the vane and into the cloudy sky. The last faint hints of a rainbow were slowly fading. As she turned and headed home, the light scattered into a million particles and vanished, seemingly taken away on the breeze. Daily life. Yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot of backstory. But here's the thing, right? It's a lot of backstory, but it fills in Kaine as a character as a whole. And this is why I really enjoy Kaine in general. She's strong, she knows what she wants, and she's also the base of another favorite character of mine, which we'll get into much later on. But this really fills in the story between this one and Automata very well. In the distance, Kaine heard the steady sounds of an axe striking wood. The noise had a purposeful quality to it, as if she was hearing a master woodsman go about his work. The firewood being produced, however, was as far from a work of art as could be. Pieces of every shape and size were being flung about a barren yard with wild abandon. Anyone trying to stack such wood would probably die of frustration before the job was through. Stupid piece of shit axe. Kaine's grandmother flailed away with the axe, filling the air with both splinters of wood and words that would probably make the most hardened sailor blush. Grandma, called Kaine. That you, Kaine? Yelled the old woman, taking her eyes off the wood for a moment. Don't get too close, or I might take your gosh darn foot off by mistake. She brought the axe down on a piece of wood, sending chips flying in every direction. One spun past Kaine, close enough for her to hear the whistle, at which point she decided to step back. Once she'd scuttled to a safe distance, she cupped her hands around her mouth and shouted, "Grandma, do you need help? I can get you water or lunch or a new axe or something."
Emotional damage! Where's the therapy button?
That is quite some emotional damage right there. Can't even strike wood appropriately. The axe, poised to strike another bodily blow, paused in midair. The old woman considered her granddaughter's offer for a moment, then smiled. "Tell you what, since I'm doing such a poor job of chopping, why don't you come here and take over so I can go get the water? Shades have been restless lately, and I don't want you running into one of those." Okay. There's a lot of swearing. I'm gonna try my best and dance around it, but just know that whenever the grandmother's talking, it is pretty much just swear after swear of various degrees. Relinquishing the axe, her grandmother picked up a long pole with wooden buckets on either end. Gathering water was by far the most difficult of the two jobs, but Kaine knew better than to complain. Once Grandma's mind was set, there was no change in it. Kaine did her best to help with chores, but Grandma took every task that required travel to the village. Though she had a long list of plausible excuses, Kaine knew the real reason. She didn't want her granddaughter to be taunted and harassed by the villagers. Once Kaine moved in, Grandma decided to take up residence a good distance away from the area. Out of sight, out of mind seemed to be the best policy when it came to the villagers and her granddaughter. And rare were the days when any but the two of them could be found on the rocky acre of land they called home. Kaine enjoyed the solitude, but harbored a secret resentment that her grandmother was forced to spend her golden years in such a place. After watching her grandmother leave, Kaine turned her attention to the task at hand. She had never chopped wood before in her life, and soon discovered why the old woman hated the chore. Swing after swing of the axe produced only a tiny crack in the wood, and when she finally managed to connect with a solid stroke, the tool embedded itself into the log and refused to budge. Frustrated, Kaine swung the axe around her head and threw it, log and all, across the yard. "Gosh darn it!" She suddenly understood the joy her grandmother felt in a good curse. Happier now, she picked up the axe, forced it from the wood, and resumed chopping. She had a natural skill with the blade, but the task was challenging. The blisters soon began to form on her small pink hands. "This is tough, and my logs are all weird sizes." Spitting on her palms and ignoring the pain, Kaine redoubled her efforts. Just as she was developing rhythm, Grandma returned home from the village. Setting down her buckets with a small sigh, she took one look at the logs and copped out a wheezy laugh. "Pretty clumsy, girl. You better practice if you..." Her grandmother suddenly collapsed to her knees, causing one of the buckets to wobble precariously. Eyes wide, Kaine dropped the axe and ran to her grandmother's side. "Grandma!" The old woman shook her head and pointed a trembling finger at the bucket. "Get the bucket. Can't let it spill." Kaine studied the bucket with a foot as she knelt by her grandmother. A small bit of water sloshed over the side and made a new hole in the hem of her dress, but Kaine didn't notice. Grandma, what's happening?" Crazed with panic, she grabbed her grandmother by the shoulder and shook. After a moment, the woman lifted her arms and batted Kaine away. "Stop that. Just stop," she cried, breathing heavily. "It ain't like I'm dying. I'm just tired from the trip is all." Kaine desperately wanted to believe her, but one look at the old woman's shaking hands and worn face told her more than words could ever. The grandmother had lived a long, hard life, and it seemed the bill was finally coming due. The time when her grandmother watched over Kaine was ending. Sooner than either of them had feared, the positions would be reversed. The next morning, Kaine came to the side of her grandmother's bed and took her wrinkled hand. "Grandma, you're sick. You need medicine. I'm going to the village." The old woman shook her head and tried to rise, but Kaine gently pushed her down. "It's all right," she said. "I'll be fine." Her grandmother fixed her with a gaze that could melt steel. After what seemed an eternity, she finally lowered her eyes and sighed. "Well, I don't like it, but I guess I shouldn't quit being so stubborn and let you grow up." The old woman watched as Kaine strapped on her boots and made her way down the road to the village. Hours later, as an unseen sun made its way across the dark sky, She was still watching. Kaine moved at a brisk pace, checking her pockets every few minutes to make sure the money her grandmother gave her was still there. Every noise caused her to spin on her heels, making sure she wasn't being stalked by a shade.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh
Or
even
worse, Demo and his gang. But she encountered neither tormentors nor shades, and Kaine finally found herself at the entrance of the village. The few adults she could see glanced sideways at her, then muttered to each other behind raised hands before slinking away into the shadows. Her heart racing, Kaine took a series of rapid, shallow breaths and tried to calm herself. I have to prove myself. I have to help Grandma. I have to be strong. She chanted those words to herself over and over as she slowly made her way. Finally, her eyes settled on a rotund, older woman who was angrily waving her arms in the air and telling everyone who would listen exactly what she thought of Kaine's presence. "Hey lady," said Kaine with a bravado she did not feel. "Where's the apothecary?" The woman's flabby cheeks shook in bewildered anger. "How dare this thing speak to me?" they seemed to say, but Kaine saw that her eyes held a different emotion. Fear. "Yeah, they were both scared, lady. Trust me on this one." "Which way?" Kaine repeated. The woman pointed at a small building to her right before hitching up her dress and stumbling off in the other direction. Kaine cringed, expecting a stone to come flying from the assembled crowd, but none came. Her mind was filled with a strange sense of pride as she made her way to the apothecary, but the new emotion had little time to take root. For as soon as she opened the door, she noticed a familiar customer at the counter. It was Demo. He'd clearly been sent here on some kind of family errand, because his gang of followers was nowhere to be found. "Oh my god," he sputtered. What are you doing here, freak?" The insult was delivered without force, and Kaine happily ignored it, stretching on tiptoes to see over the counter. She asked the shopkeeper for the medication. "Ha!" barked Demo. "That old woman finally keel over? Go to hell, Demo." The boy's eyes grew so wide they seemed ready to fall out from his head. But before he could let fly a comeback, or worse, a punch, the apothecary told them to knock it off before he kicked them out of the store. Demo slunk out of the shop, cursing Kaine under his breath. Once he was gone, she allowed herself to breathe once more, taking a brief tour of the shop while the owner prepared her medication. Countless tiny bottles filled the cramped store, each with a label written in some indecipherable language. An ocean of aromas assaulted her nose, creating a scent that was exotic, but not altogether unpleasant. Seeing such a variety of supplies gave Kaine a sense of peace. Surely, in a world so vast, there would be a place that she could call home. On the far wall behind the counter rested a portrait of a stunning young girl. The picture had once contained bright, vibrant colors, but time had worked its cruel magic, and they were beginning to fade. The beauty of the work, however, remained undiminished. "You like that picture?" Kaine turned to find the apothecary with a small vial of medicine in his hand. His eyes were gentle but sad, and they seemed to stare through her and into nothing as he spoke. "That's my daughter. I sketched it when she was just a little girl. She's been dead a long time now." Kaine didn't know how to respond. She just stared at the portrait and tried to come up with the right words. "Pictures are wonderful things," continued the shopkeeper. "They let the ones closest to you live on forever." He shook his head slightly, then looked down at Kaine and smiled, handing her the medicine, and reached into his sizable green apron and produced a handful of old wax crowns. "You should have these. There's no one left that I wish to draw." Kaine took an instinctive step back, causing the shopkeeper's face to darken. "Yes, I've heard the rumors about you," he said. "It's a small village, and word travels quickly. Between you and me, I'm not sure which of them to believe, but I also don't think they matter much. I know your grandmother, Kali, and I think the way she was driven out of this town is just deplorable." "Grandma's name is Kali?" thought Kaine suddenly. She was still mulling this new fact in her mind as she reached out and gently took the crowns from the apothecary's hands. "Your grandmother is an old friend of mine," he said as Kaine scooted away yet again, "and I owe her much. I wager she would like it if you drew a picture of her." "Yes, I think she would like that very much." Kaine murmured a quiet agreement, but inside her heart was bursting. Never before had a villager treated her with anything but complete contempt. It was a tiny, almost imperceptible step, but it was a step nonetheless. And with enough tiny steps, she might one day discover the rest of the world. When Kaine returned home, she found her grandmother asleep in her bed. Her feet were blackened and raw, even bleeding a bit in places, leading Kaine to think that she had been pacing around the room until exhaustion finally caught up with her. She placed the medicine by her grandmother's pillow and turned to leave, but found the old woman's hand clasped around her arm. "Back already, are you?" asked her grandmother with a yawn. "Come here, let me have a look at you." Grandma sat up and examined Kaine from head to toe. Finally satisfied that nothing terrible had befallen her grandchild, she leaned back and allowed herself to relax. "Well, how was it? Those people give you any trouble?" "It was kind of fun," said Kaine with a small smile. "No, seriously, it was." "Fun, eh?" asked her grandmother in a voice which implied she believed anything but. "Uh-huh. So anytime you need me to run an errand, just let me know." Oh my goodness. As she spoke, Kaine removed the crowns from her pocket. After a brief explanation of their source, she informed her grandmother that she was going to sketch her portrait. "A portrait of me? Ridiculous. No one wants to stare at a wrinkled old crone." "But Grandma, it'll make you live forever." "Horse garbage," said her grandmother, throwing back the sheet from her bed. "Living forever would just tick me off. Now put those crowns away and help with dinner." But Kaine would not relent, and in the end, Grandma found herself leaning against the wall of their house, as if posing for a master artist. Kaine took up the crowns, eyed her subject carefully, and set to work. Just as her grandmother was about to nod off, Kaine finished the piece. After staring at it a bit, she released it from her grip and let it slowly drip to the floor. "It's terrible. It doesn't look like you at all." "I'm sorry, Grandma. I thought these crowns would, make drawing easy or something." The old woman's eyes narrowed on her granddaughter's disappointment. "Let me be the judge of that," she said, ignoring the pain in her back and reaching for the paper. The sketch could have been a person's face. It also could have been a boulder, a lump of clay, or an incredibly misshapen loaf of bread, all rendered in a chaotic array of colors. The old woman stared at the picture for a long time, then slowly wheezed out a laugh. "Oh, Kaine," she said between laughter. "You truly are my blood. You're as clumsy as me and I love it. But, hush, I won't hear any bull about how ugly you think it is. It came from the heart, and I'll treasure it always." True to her word, the old woman gave the picture a place of honor above the kitchen table. In the days that followed, Kaine would often catch her staring at the portrait with a strange smile on her face, an action she interpreted as silent, mocking laughter. A week later, Kaine could stand it no more and asked her grandmother to take the artwork down. "Posh," said the old woman. "I'll take it down when they roll me in my shroud." She pondered this for a bit, then turned to Kaine and dropped to one knee. "Listen to me, girl. Seeing this picture makes me happy in a way I've never felt before, and it makes me want to go on, so that someday you can feel the same happiness." It was a moment that burned itself in Kaine's memory, a perfect blend of pride and love and joy that came together to form a lifelong remembrance. She swore to never forget this moment, to never forget the old woman who had made her place in the world possible. Time moves on. People and memories move in and out of a life like ghosts passing through a hall, but this moment will be different. Kaine swore because I will remember it forever. Forever. Part 3, separation, the fun part, he said very sarcastically. Kaine listened to the sound of cackling firewood and stared at the black object on her plate. She'd been pushing it around the wooden disc for a good 10 minutes, ignoring the bemused stare of her grandmother. Finally, she summoned her courage and gave the object a brief sniff. A sharp, bitter scent flew up her nostrils and made its home there, causing her face to twist with disgust. "Grandma, I can't believe you want me to eat a bug." The old woman threw some more wood under the cooking pot and snorted. "It's no bug, you fool girl, it's a berry." "Why the hell would you be feeding you bugs?" Yeah, well, it sure looks like a bug, said Kaine, and I think it's burnt or something because it smells terrible. With that, Kaine held her nose and threw the berry in her mouth, chewing as little as possible. Oh, yeah, that's terrible, all right. Why, you little brat, laughed the old woman. Look at the sass on you. You've been spending too much time with me. That's a fact. 5 years had passed since the moment Kaine's grandmother saved her from the bullies. In fact, as is often the way with two stubborn people, their relationship had grown in fits and starts, but moved forward all the same. Meals that used to be somber affairs were now filled with laughter and hurled abuse in equal measure. Kaine could no longer Wow. Kaine could not remember a time when she had been happier. As the years went by, Kaine started to shoulder more and more of the daily responsibilities. Her grandmother's legs grew weaker by the day, and she could no longer do many of the chores she used to take for granted. And so this morning found Kaine lacing up her work boots with a breakfast of burned berry rolling through her belly. "Where are you going today?" asked Grandma suddenly. Kaine looked up, surprised. The old woman rarely asked for specifics anymore. "Well, I was gonna check out the kelma trees and see if they were ripe. I thought we could make some jam or something. Oh, and I'm going to pick up some flagstones, so I need to take the wheelbarrow." "Flagstones? What in the hell for?" Kaine stared at her grandmother, then held out an arm and swept it around their home. Constructed mostly of cloth, rope, and rubble, the old place sagged like a boxer in the final round. "Grandma, a dying cat could chew through this house. I'm going to build a stone wall so we have some protection." The old woman laughed, exposing her toothless grin for the world. Gosh, girl. If a bunch of thieves want to ransack this old place, let them come. We got nothing worth stealing anyway. I'm not worried about thieves. I'm worried about shades. People saw one west of the village yesterday. The old woman tilted her head and stared at her granddaughter. "Well, shoot. I don't know why you have to do it today. We can worry about it some other..." "Grandma, no. If I don't go to the kelma trees, we won't eat tonight. You know that." A confused expression passed across the old woman's face, and for a moment she was a small child lost at a carnival. Yes, she said after a bit. "Yes, of course you're right. I'm sorry, Kaine. Lately it seems my mind is..." She didn't finish the thought, instead walking over to her nightstand and gently taking the wreath of lunar tears from the drawer. The flower's petals had aged to a brilliant whiteness, and Kaine thought it was more beautiful now than the day she first received it. "You're gonna be a true woman soon," Grandma said as she placed the flowers in the girl's hair. "So that means less chatter about shades and building defensive walls and more talk about how beautiful you've become." Annoyed, Kaine reached up to remove the garland, but the look on her grandmother's face stopped her hand. "You're a beautiful thing," said the old woman, "and there ain't another like you in all the world. I am very proud of you." "Okay, Grandma, that's enough gosh darn compliments for the one day. Such a mouth on you. Where did that come from? Gee, I wonder." "I'll teach you to sass me, girl," yelled Grandma. Suddenly she lurched forward and grabbed Kaine by the ears, pulling her around the room with a crazed grin on her face. "Grandma," yelled Kaine in a walking voice. "Grandma, stop it, what the heck?" The old woman stared at her and blinked, then slowly held her wrinkled hands out as if it was the first time she had ever seen them. Oh, I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry, girl. Sometimes my mind just..." Kaine thought the look on her grandmother's face was the most heartbreaking thing she had ever seen. "Listen," she began. Oh my gosh, my little petal just kind of snapped off there. "Listen," she began. "Maybe I should stay home after all." "No, I won't have you stay here to keep an eye on an old cougar like me." "On the way home tonight, I thought I was about to get pulled over by a state trooper." "Oh, why would you get pulled over by a state trooper?" "Don't tell me you were speeding, man. Don't speed. You gotta drive the speed limit." You go get your fruit and your wall and whatnot. I'll be fine. And when you come back, I'll have a nice grasshopper dinner waiting for you." Kaine rolled her eyes, then kissed her grandmother on the forehead and made ready to depart, trying desperately to ignore the worry that was gnawing at the walls of her heart. Kaine could feel the old woman's eyes watching her as she moved down the path. "Don't turn around. Don't turn around, she told herself. But in the end, the temptation was too great. She spun on a heel for one final look and saw a small, bent woman standing in front of a ramshackle hut with a sad expression on her face. Gods, she looks so old now. It's like the wind could reach down and just carry her away. Kaine worried about her grandmother all day, causing her work to suffer. What little fruit she could collect was tossed carelessly into the wheelbarrow, and she only found a couple of stones before losing interest in the project. Finally, as dusk approached, she decided to call it a day. Cursing herself for the lack of focus, Kaine pushed the nearly empty wheelbarrow back down the path. Nope, I'm not that crazy, especially during deer season. It had to deal with my high beams. Interesting. As she crested the final hill, she suddenly froze in place. The wheelbarrow fell from her fingers and collapsed on its side, sending a few pieces of wrinkled brown fruit rolling back down the hill. Her gaze was transfixed by a thick, black cloud that had hovered just ahead. Tracing its path with a finger, Kaine suddenly felt her stomach knot in on itself. Oh gods, no. Her grandmother's house was ablaze, the flames licking up as if trying to touch the sky itself. Grandma? Grandma! Kaine ran then, faster than she had ever moved in her life. Once she tripped on a stone and went sprawling into the rocky ground. She leapt to her feet and continued running, unmindful of the blood that spilled from her wounded hands and knees. As she got closer and closer, Kaine's mind began to race in time with her footfalls. It's too dark. It's too dark. Not just fire. Can't be fire. Too much smoke. Gotta save her. Gotta save her. She burst into the front yard and came to a sudden halt. Her worst suspicion confirmed. The smoke from the fire was mingling, and the thick, inky blackness was an enormous shade. The massive creature supported itself on 3 twisted feet and achieved balance through means of a large armored tail, scales, horns, and claws sprouted from its body in a random, chaotic pattern, giving it the appearance of a lizard designed by some insane god. Seeing Kaine, it let out a roar and flicked its tail, sending small whirlwinds spinning around the yard. For a moment, the creature retreated into the shimmering, inky blackness, as if her mind was unable to comprehend that such a thing could actually exist. But then, the smell hit her, a blend of rotted meat and excrement. The horror became real once more. The creature bellowed again, and this time Kaine responded with a scream of her own. You gosh darn, she thought as her scream echoed off the high cliffs around them. It's you or me, let's go. The shade eyed Kaine with bemused interest. Then it began looking from her to the house and back again, as if urging her to look at the destruction it had so gleefully wrought. With dread building in her heart, Kaine glanced toward the house. Through the smoke and flames, she spotted a small figure struggling to escape the ruins. Grandma! At the sound of her voice, the old woman began waving frantically. She's alive, thought Kaine. Alive! Kaine's legs sprang to life as she raced across the yard toward the flaming wreckage of the house. Before she could advance more than a few steps, the shade opened its mouth and let out a roar painful enough to uproot trees and send them flying. The blast sent Kaine tumbling through the air before smashing her against the rocky earth. Stars danced in front of her eyes as she tried to remember how her legs worked. Get up! Get up! Get up, get up, get up, get up, get up now! As Kaine struggled to her feet, the shade stomped toward the house and pinned her grandmother to the ground with the tip of a claw. The old woman struggled to move the claw from her stomach, but she might well have been pushing a mountain. She coughed briefly, sending a small spray of blood into the air, then collapsed to the ground, her energy spent. Kaine lurched to her feet, only to fall back to the earth with a gasp. Her ankles were on fire. One or both of them were surely broken. Ignoring the pain that screamed through her body, she began dragging herself across the ground, leaving a drunken trail of dust and blood in her wake. Grandma, hold on. Just a little longer. Her grandmother's face was turning blue, her eyes rolling back until only the whites were exposed. Kaine pulled herself across the ground with maddening slowness, The distance seemed to increase with every second that passed. The shade glanced between the two women and flicked out its tongue, its giant mouth turning up at the corpse corners. Short, panting breaths belched from somewhere deep inside its core. Bastard, laughing at us. She had no idea how such a mindless creature could experience emotion, but there could be no doubt the shade was taking joy in their suffering. Yeah, I see your plan. The shade moved its claw slightly, allowing Grandma to breathe again. It was clearly keeping her alive, only to snuff her out when Kaine was close enough to touch her. I'm gonna kill this thing. Summoning all her strength, Kaine rose to her feet. There was a sickening snap from her right ankle as the foot twisted backward, but she forced it from her mind and began to hobble toward the monster. Pulling a small knife from her pouch at her waist, she leapt on the foot that pinned her grandmother and plunged the weapon deep. Give her back, she screamed. Give her back to me. It was like stabbing a rock. After a few swipes, the knife broke at the hilt with a dull snap. The shade panted laughter again, then raised its tail and sent it rushing through the air toward the young girl that was latched to its foot. Kaine never had a chance. The tail struck her square in the chest and sent her crashing into the burning wreckage of the home. She lay on the ground with blood pouring from multiple wounds. A small, weak voice spoke up. Kaine? Kaine's vision blurred, but she forced herself to focus on the sound. Finally, her eyes cleared enough for her to make out her grandmother's hands.
Hey, listen, hello. Hey, listen, watch out.
I call ill afforded another deer strike. Oh, interesting. Weird. I don't quite get that. Out her grandmother's hands, reaching out to her through the smoke. Grandma, Kaine, you gotta run. You can't best this one. Kaine's grabbed the hands and held on with all her strength. Grandma, come on, we have to go. The old woman coughed loudly. One of her hands, slick with blood, slipped from Kaine's grasp and thumped on the ground below. Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, here's the thing, right? If you can't see, then you need to get your lights fixed. Like, you can't drive around out there like that. And there's a good reason why he should have stopped you then at that point. Grandma, no. I said run, gosh darn it. You have to live. You have to get through. The thought would stay forever unfinished. Before she could say another word, the shade's clawed foot descended, smashing through the remains of the roof, down upon the shattered figure of the old woman. Blood oozed from the gaps in the creature's toes as a terrible, putrid smell assaulted Kaine's nose once more. She stared at the foot, dumbfounded, convinced that what she was seeing could not be possibly real. When the creature finally lifted its appendage, all that remained underneath was a twisted, unrecognizable mass of rubble and red. Her grandmother was gone. Kaine blinked, trying to feel the hands which had been in hers just a moment before. For a fleeting instant, she could remember the warmth of that embrace, the trembling of the fingers, but then the sensation drifted away on the breeze and was gone. Especially since I've only gotten over a year left to pay on it. Nice. Yeah, well, okay, here's the thing, right? Your headlights aren't working then, because headlights nowadays are really freaking bright. Like, they are not dim by any means. They're actually a little bit too bright, in my opinion. The memories flashed through Kaine's mind, one after the other, faster and faster, until they became a meaningless jingle of noise. Kaine screamed then, a thunderous sound that echoed out off the cliffs and seemed to roll away forever. The shade eased forward, black ichor pouring from its mouth and dissolving into smoke on the ground below. The earth shook with every step as it crept toward its prey. Kaine's body slowly rose as if controlled by a mad puppet master. Her arms and legs were bent at impossible angles, her head lolled dangerously to the side. Yet somehow she managed to stand. Staring at the shade, her eyes began to glow with the deep red fire. The creature, so confident just moments before, took a slow, hesitant step back, trying to discern if this broken human could possibly pose a threat. Kaine seized the moment, laughing like a mad woman. She leapt into the air and plunged the shattered hilt of her knife deep into the leg of the shade. The shade shook Kaine off like a fly, sending her crashing to the earth once again. Her chest rose and fell slowly, as if great weight were resting on it. Moist sounds of pain echoed through her mind. Something warm and thick oozed from her ears. Is that blood? Think it is. Think I'm bleeding to death. No, can't. Can't die. Grandma told me to live. Oh man. Good old grandma. Older light bulb type. You could definitely get it switched out though. Deep inside Kaine's mind, something finally broke. The sound of pain, the smoke and flames, all of it faded away until all that remained was a single incantation repeated over and over again. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it, 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 kill it. Must kill it now. As the spark that was Kaine slowly began to flicker and die, she felt her desire to kill and her desire to live blend into one. The distance between heartbeats grew longer and longer and longer. We've gotten through story time. It only took us an hour, almost an hour and 20 minutes. There is a much longer one that we're going to go through.
The beast approaches.
Oh, I know.
We're back to hack and slash. Oh my goodness. So we didn't learn that Kaine gave up her soul. I'm kind of curious where that comes into play, right? Because that's like an important trait of her, at least. Oh my gosh, we have Blade. We've got Blade. Actually, we got Spear, to be honest.
How did it even survive
I like
these
Spear.
past 5 years?
I'm not gonna let this happen again. It dies
I do like the
today.
fact that we start here, of all places.
My sword feels lighter.
It's not the blade, but the skill of the user. Strike it down.
Oh, our main character just mentioned that he feels more stronger. Interesting. Can I not reach there? I want to reach those tentacles. Please, thank you. Oh my gosh. Look at that sheer damage. Boop. Ooh, excuse me. I swear I remember going down into the basement though. This feels kind of weird. So I'm pretty sure we get to actually hear some of the things that they say this round, if I remember right. But yeah, how was your guys' dinner? I know Muzzle had some pork, it sounded like, with some very nice, delectable things. No! I thought we were done! We are not done. All right. Gently, weakly, softly, the shade, sure that its tormentor was dead, turned and stomped off toward the horizon, stopping along the way to bellow out one final roar. Couldn't kill it. Shamed beyond imagining, Kaine tried to turn her head to the side, but only succeeded in coughing up a huge gout of blood. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize that her left eye was gone. Gotta go back to work at 6 a.m. That sucks. It hit a deer earlier this month. I think it was more accurately it hit me. was cruising at 50 miles per hour when I saw it coming at me from the corner of my eye. Too late to dodge it. Aw. Yeah, those are always the worst. And especially because deer just have a mind of their own sometimes. They tend to do things. It was getting difficult to see. Oh. Yeah, okay. Okay, wait, where did we end? But only succeeded in coughing up a huge gout of blood. It was getting difficult to see, and only after a moment of fierce concentration did she realize that her left eye was gone. Laughing to herself, she turned her remaining eye to the ruins of her home and noticed a ragged stump of an arm resting a few feet away. Yeah, that's mine, she thought with a mad giggle. This is gonna make clapping a real gosh start. Ha! Cried a sudden voice from the depths of her mind. Finally gonna die, are ya? Well, you had it coming. Go to hell, Demo, she thought at the unseen assailant. Go to hell before I pluck out your eyes and feed them to a dog. The voice of her childhood terror evaporated into smoke, only to be replaced by another, more recent voice. Hold still, said the apothecary, materializing from the ruins like a ghost. I want to draw you. That way, you can live forever. No, stop. I don't want to live forever. I want to die right here. I see, he said quietly. Well, if that's what you want. The spectral shopkeeper fluttered in and out of existence for a moment, then produced a piece of paper and sketched quickly. After a few seconds, he turned the page to Kaine and smiled. Since you rejected my offer, I decided to draw someone else. It was a picture of her grandmother, real as life. Kaine opened her mouth to thank the man, but stopped as the picture began to blacken in the middle. Before she could say anything, dozens of multi-legged insects began to swarm across the image, tearing at it with sharpened pincers. No, stop! Don't hurt that picture! Kaine reached out with her remaining arm and waved futilely at the air. To her surprise, the insects fell off the picture and to the ground below, where they vanished into tiny black tendrils of smoke. Relieved, Kaine turned her good eye back to the picture, only to open her mouth in a silent scream. The sketch now showed her grandmother as she truly was, a smashed, unrecognizable lump of nothing. The apothecary smiled, then broke into a jolly dance. See that? He cried as he danced his jig. It's perfect now. She looks just like you. Ha cha 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 cha. I look like that? Oh God, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Drowning in despair, Kaine laid her head back in the mud and smoke of her ruined house and waited for the end to come. But just before she let everything go, an unfamiliar voice began whispering in her ear. Ain't you got a wish, sunshine? The voice was vulgar and fierce at the same time, as if insanity had somehow found a way to take form. Kaine wanted to scream as the voice crawled under her skin, but her lungs refused to work. You know, a wish, like a prayer or something? Why don't you get on your knees and start praying to heaven? Please, invisible man in the sky, save me, save me! Kaine finally resorted to shouting at the voice with her mind. I don't make wishes, they don't come true for me. I'm a curse, a freak, I should be left to die. The other voice boomed in her ears. Oh God, you're the best. Kaine looked down and saw a black, shiny substance oozing from her legs. She tried to brush it away, but her remaining arm would no longer respond. The substance slowly crept around her feet and then began moving up toward the rest of her body. Is this death? Is this what it's like? Or is my mind just losing itself? She could feel the slime oozing upward, feel the hot, searing pain it left in its wake. Whatever else might be happening, she was still alive, and this was real. Come on, said the voice, let it go. Kaine tried to ignore the voice and concentrate on the pain, but the newcomer would have none of it. Don't ignore me, sunshine. You're ready to give up, ready to die. So why not let me have it? Have what? Your body! Come on, give it to me. Give it to me! I want to stand on the ground, feel the rain, taste the wind. The voice paused as if licking its lips. Then it resumed. It was filled with mad, unabated joy. And I want to take your hands and use them to choke the gosh darn life out of people. I want to tear out their throats and bathe in the blood just like before. In response, Kaine shifted her head and vomited. The warmth of it crept down her front and mingled with the pain of the encroaching black ooze. Are you a shade? Yeah, maybe. What of it? The slime reached her face, crept up past her nose, and slowly oozed into the socket of her missing eye. The moment it touched her brain, Kaine was struck by the most powerful sensation she'd ever felt in her life. It was ecstasy. She wanted to scream in delight, but all she could manage was a small, whispered moan. Feels good, don't it? Asked the voice with a chuckle. Yeah, what can I say? I know how to please the ladies. Now give me that body. Come on, give me that body and I'll give you more of this feeling. It's a fair trade. A black lump began to protrude from Kaine's side. As she watched, it grew longer and thicker, eventually taking the form of her missing arm. I can see better, she thought. My eye must be growing back too. The slime reached up to envelop the rest of her face, but she managed to brush it away. Stop, she whispered, marveling at how she had regained her voice. Stop. The black ooze hesitated, as if considering this request, then quickly shimmered down her body before disappearing into a cloud of smoke. Aw, what the hell, Sunshine? Screamed the voice. We had a deal. I thought you wanted to die. Grandma said, can't die yet. A brief image of her grandmother, bloody and broken, flashed before her eyes. She saw a shade that had killed her and heard its mocking laughter, then closed her eyes and forced the image from her mind. Her whole body was quaking with rage. When she opened her eyes again, they burned bright red. That thing took my grandmother. I have to kill it before I die. Boing! Kaine glanced down and saw a mysterious pattern. The pattern of the shades burned itself into her left arm. Well, I'll be damned, said the voice cheerfully. Look at that, Sunshine. I think you and me are gonna be good friends now. Kaine stared intently at her arm. The more emotional she felt, the more the letters seemed to ready to puncture her skin, begin infecting the rest of her body. The arm clearly had a will of its own now. Stop, gotta stop. Holding her left arm in her right, Kaine took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. Come on, don't fight it, pleaded the voice. Heat's my favorite dish, and I'm hungry. Let it go. Feel the anger. Burn with the fire of revenge. Thirst for blood. Then go out there and shut up, and get the heck out of my body. Yeah, it's OJ. I love some good old OJ. Your body? Oh, that's rich, Sunshine. Real rich. Look, why don't you just up and die so I can have this body all to myself? What do you say? I bet those buddies of yours in the area would love to see you dead. Kaine grabbed a nearby shard of glass and tried to saw off the shade-infected portion of her side. Before she could, her darkened left arm grabbed her wrist, crushing it. Kaine screamed and dropped the shard as the sound of bone crunching on bone filled the air. Stupid girl. You're possessed now, Sunshine, and there ain't no going back. The voice laughed, a loud, long wail that seemed to go on without end. Possessed? Whispered Kaine. Yeah, possessed. You and me? We got what you might call a timeshare agreement. Remember how the folks used to think you were a freak? Well, wait till they get a load of you now. Kaine looked up with tears in her eyes. The sky seemed smaller somehow, darker. Is this because of that shade? Is this how they see the world? So, listen, purred the voice. I know this whole possession thing seems a bit sudden, but it ain't all bad. There's plenty in it for you, too. I'm a very powerful creature, Sunshine, and now that power belongs to you. You got enemies? People you want to kill? I can make it happen. That little fat kid who kept pecking on you? That big old shade that squashed your granny? We'll wrap them up in their own butts. No more abuse for you, Sunshine. No more pain. Wait, said Kaine. You're a shade. Why would you help me kill another shade? What, you think I'm some kind of racist? Some killing snob? I don't give a good gosh of who you murder. I just want to drink for the well. Kaine considered this as she struggled to her feet, the power of the shade coursing through her. The smoke from her house was drifting away with the wind, and she enjoyed the way the cool evening breeze felt on her new left arm. After a long pause, the voice spoke up again. So, how about it, you and me? We could have some good times together. Look, I'll even take care of the bloody part if you don't want. Good gosh, muttered Kaine. I'll handle the killing. screamed the voice. Look at you go, sunshine. Oh, we're gonna have so much fun. So listen, my name's Tyrion, and if you ever need me, I'll just be hanging out in this piece of meat you call a heart. Now get to it. The more you kill, the more your heart turns rotten and sour, and I like rotten and sour. Kaine found herself nodding at the voice. Yeah, she said, yeah, I think this can work. I'm gonna find that shade and I'm gonna strangle it with my own guts. And when I'm done, I'm gonna do the same to you, Tyrion. Count on it. Ha! Laughed Tyrion. I'm bigger than you, so good luck with that. Oh, and hey, one more thing. Right now, you and me are sharing this body. And if you ever run out of hate, if you ever, go soft, then I'm gonna take over everything. So keep on killing, sunshine, and watch your back. The voice grew fainter and gradually faded away, fading to somewhere deep inside Kaine herself. Kaine waited until she was sure the voice was gone, then waved her new left arm around a few times. It feels perfectly normal, she thought. It feels like mine. Desperately, she began poking and prodding at the new limb, determined to find something wrong with it. She didn't want it to feel normal. That would mean the creature inside her had already won. I am not a shade. I am Kaine. Repeating this mantra in her mind, she slowly began digging through the rubble of her house, being careful to ignore a certain red-stained spot in this corner. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of heartbreaking work, she found what she was looking for. It was the wreath of lunar tears. Though it had been through heck and back, the garland's petals were as bright as ever. Kaine started to place it in her hair, then slowly lowered the wreath and stared at it. I'm sorry, Grandma. I'm so sorry. But I don't deserve to wear this anymore. I'm possessed, corrupted, a freak. And this time, I don't think there's any going back. Holding the flowers to her heart, Kaine fell to the ground and sobbed. As night gradually lightened to dawn and the people of the area rose to their daily lives, she remained in that position, as if tears could somehow wash away the horror that now infected her world.
Alive. Stay alive. Stay alive.
No.
Grandma. Kaine,
Well,
you gotta live. You gotta come back to us.
that makes more sense, though. Think about making garlic butter steak bites soon. That's pretty good. I like messing with garlic, salt, and butter in general. That's like a good combination right there. You know what's also really good? Pot pie. Cutting up the veggies, it's so satisfying. And then the mashed potato topping, even better, man. It's amazing work.
Emil, you were the one calling me, weren't you?
You still recognize me?
Of course.
Aww.
I knew you right away.
Thank you,
So,
Kaine.
we know why she left now. And that's also pretty sad.
Welcome back, Kaine.
Well, you grew up.
She really can't, like, have a happy ending.
So-
Also,
How long has it been?
5 years.
it's still heartwarming, you know? She's like, oh my gosh, look at this dude. It's crazy.
Shit. That's a long time. Any luck with Yona?
We are still no closer to...
By the way,
Is that...
it's not as good as your grandmother's, but I tried.
No,
Aw.
it's great.
You know what sucks? My nose now just chooses to clear up.
Kaine waking from her long petrified sleep. Emil's unflagging kindness. Our reunion was a happy one, and we let it wash over us like rain.
You know, the other
is
thing that's really
Until
good,
Devila and Popola had to go and ruin it all.
Texas Roadhouse is pretty good as well.
Are you kidding me? You can't be serious.
Please try to understand.
So do you think these two were egging him on at this point?
People are tired
Feeling
and
the
scared.
hatred?
This is...
It's okay. We can sleep outside.
No one's... You and Kaine saved...
People are afraid of us. As long as you're right.
I'm used to sleep.
But...
Haas's last night. Oh my gosh. I'm a little jelly at that. So, I will kind of speed through some of the dialogue here,
Kaine always never even...
because a lot of it stays the same. The newer parts should come in the cutscenes, so I won't skip those, but on the third playthrough, I'll primarily be skipping quite a bit.
For the first time in my life, I hated Devila.
Good old Devila and Popola.
For the first time in my life, I doubted Popola. But those feelings are pointless in the end.
That's very true.
They said and did what they did
I would
for
say
the sake of the
Texas
village.
Roadhouse is maybe better than Haas's, but Haas's has the salad bar, so
protect it from the horror
Haas's
of
wins
shades.
out by that. And their ice cream machine. I still can't get over the fact that they have an ice cream machine, man. I feel like
how can I blame
Haas's
Devil
and
and Popola?
Ponderosa were like combating against each other, because I feel like Ponderosa also had a
In the
very
end, I'm
similar
just as bad.
like get up. But then Ponderosa just took a
Because I
nosedive,
never
and then
once stopped
Haas's
to think
reigned
about
supreme.
Kaine and Emil's situation myself.
Good old situations. Oh, new cutscene. No, not new cutscene. Okay.
I should apologize to Kaine and Emil, but what good would that even do?
I got a fire going. Kaine.
Wait, is that...
Aww.
Fires are weird.
Campfires are weird.
I'm so happy to get to talk to you again, Kaine.
Yeah, me too.
I tried everything I could think of to save you, you know. I polished you with a special cloth. I poured warm water over you.
Wait, you poured water on me?
Yeah, but it didn't really do much except make you all shiny.
Hey, Emil. Thanks for saving me.
I guess you
Aw.
noticed how I look different now.
I'm sorry, Emil. I'm sorry for all of it.
Well, I mean, this new form isn't all bad, you know? At least I can look at you when we talk, right? Hey, so why don't you tell me something about yourself?
I'm not very interesting. Sorry.
Come on. I just want to know you better.
Not interesting. I feel like
Please?
she has a lot of interesting stories, and they come from a very, like, direct background with each other at this point.
Fine. This all happened when I was a kid. Before the whole shade possession thing. My body is... different. And when the villagers found out about it, they started treating me like a freak. But one person, my grandmother, accepted me just as I was, no matter how bad things got. She gave me the strength to keep going.
She's really special to you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, hey! That gives me an idea. Since we cured your petrification, we should start looking for a way to cure your possession in my body. I know we can do it if we all work together. Heck, it'll probably be super easy.
Let me guess. More warm water?
You know, that really shows just how childish Emil is. Ah, it's heartbreaking
Okay.
what happens.
Can we just forget I told you about that?
Interesting.
Pull the lever,
We
Grunk.
got new stuff.
Sure. And yet your red eyes tell a different
Why do
piece
we
of
even have that
business.
lever?
Very well.
Oh my gosh, so much new stuff. Alright, we got the moonflower. We got 900 gold.
It's Mom's diary.
I have not heard you
Emotional damage! Where's the
She got the
therapy
black
button?
scroll and died when I was little.
Interesting.
My apologies for bringing it up.
It's all right. I can barely remember her face anymore. This is the only thing I have left of her.
Wendy's earlier this week. Nice. Oh my gosh, they have the pretzel bun baconator. I know what I'm doing for lunch tomorrow. I have missed that so much. Oh my gosh. Cousins as well too should have the pretzel subs. Ah, I miss those days. I really need to go to Cousins, and I really need to hit up Wendy's now. Those are like 2 must-haves. The odd one though, I'm an odd one. I love dipping French fries into a vanilla frosty. That is the absolute best.
Reading it helps remind me of when we were still a family.
I see.
But the final entries get a little strange.
In what way?
Well, here, take a look.
Triple cheese with cheese. Oh. Oh. System data save. See, I like it all.
Say there.
But I will actually ask for no ketchup or no mayo if I just want to taste straight burger.
Can you not hear me?
And it's pretty good. Ooh. Look at our manly
Why are you
body.
standing about like a slack-jawed ninny? Sorry. Felt like I was dreaming or something. Sleeping on one's feet is quite the talent indeed.
Oh my god, this is amazing.
Come now.
I forgot you
There's the
actually have to
door.
see the old bottle.
Right. Let's go.
So, Japan got the teenage boy. America got this adult hunk right here that is so muscular. Proceed! Lord Beerus from Dragon Ball Super. Which character? This is the world of a recycled vessel, created to avoid the destruction of all. Ooh. Bats! Oh my gosh, is this just an arena? I bet you this is just an arena. The OG chocolate frosty for me, nice. Yeah, there's just something satisfying about having a dry Wendy's hamburger. Alright. Well, we are killing this, I think. Pretty quickly. You know, this is also remixed. Interesting. Didn't we get a item discovery up? I feel like we should maybe equip that. How far does this go? Is this it? Oh, do we actually have to kill things? Okay, I feel like that's a dumb question. Oh wait, no, we just go down the ladder. Okay. Into the water! Big boss. Oh my gosh, look at the damage! Look at that sheer damage! I really want to upgrade this. I wonder what it takes. That's crazy. Maybe the same voice actor? Interesting. Maybe. Could be. The Black Scroll, a lost destiny, a white book, a false truth. So what do you think is Weiss's whole issue here? Because, like, he seems to be at the center of it. Was he potentially, like, the cure? Or maybe, like, a tome of humanity? interesting. Especially like how they did these like dream worlds. Very reminiscent of Drakengard 3 for sure. Ooh. Look at that. The sheer amount of bullets right there. Jason Douglas. Interesting. KC made a new friend, and guess what? He's a king! I wish I had some friends. Aww. Soldiers of Salt calling forth white death. They are legion. Those who plunge into the world is madness. It's interesting if they're doing this here. Also, I just love Beefman. Beefman is just so fun. Ooh. Magic resistance. Good thing I have my spear. Spear goes poke. I like spear. We won't use any other weapon except for spear, guys. Spear wins all, honestly, at this point. There's no reason to change. Spear does it all. Oh my gosh. What do we got here? Boop. Boop. Oh, did I kill it? Oh yeah, I did. Oh my gosh, there's just so many of them. I really wish I had like penetration for those instead of just a spear. Got you. Got you. And didn't get you. Oh, okay. Interesting. Obtain a one-handed sword, Fool's Embrace. Yeah, so we do actually have to do these because of those weapons. The dragon's corpse brought death to the world, delivering unto it the power of magic. Can we actually just complete all of this? I thought it like broke us out. I guess not. Interesting. I do believe we get a lot of money for this as well too, so we can actually earn some of those items. Or weapons, I should say. I'll have to make sure to check the towns though, because I think each town has like a different special weapon for sure. Ooh, boss time. Oh my goodness. We do no damage. Why don't we do any damage? Please do damage. Okay, this isn't too bad. Alright, that's not bad at all. And slap. Ooh, okay. Alright, he's not actually doing much damage. Okay. Oh, you do different moves. Okay. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. I thought he only had that one move, because that's all he did. Alright, he's down. Character in Skyrim is now carrying katana. Nice. Are you being the one-winged angel? 3 medicinal herbs. I feel like we have full medicinal herbs. Maybe not. Black sickness stains the future. They journey to return a soulless vessel. Oh. Oh yeah, we do have full. Okay. Oh, remember when I said there's no reason to switch? I lied. Those things actually do have a reason to switch. Okay. Big weapon, please. Yeah. Woo. Brilliant. Medicinal herb, medicinal herb. Oh my gosh. Platforming. Why? Why is there platforming by hack and slash? Oh no. Alright. Get me out of here. Thank you. So many balls. Balls of doom. Gonna enchant it. Sounds fun. I can't wait to get to better enchantments in Minecraft. I also want to set up a spider, or not a spider spawner, but a skeleton spawner soon. An automatic sugarcane farm. That'll be pretty fun. I might stream the automatic sugarcane farm. Oh! Ow. Ooh, okay, that was pretty bad. Herb. Alright, there we go. Oh. Alright, there we go. Oh, how did you do that? You knocked me out of my thing. Take that. I heard Shadow Mom's having a lot of fun on the server lately. She's also been exploring. I also really want to explore further. Kabuki outfit. Ooh. 1,000 experience points, 3 medicinal herbs. Oh, is there... do we actually have to? Okay, so that wasn't the full thing. We do actually have to continue on. Since the terrible sinister beyond the store, it may be difficult to endure that waits on the other side unless your soul is at least 28. What are we at? Oh. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. We got this. KSC and YC are always together. He sees, even though they argue a lot, they are actually good friends. The apocalypse divided the world in two, one that knows not day and one that has never seen light. Actions are prohibited. Magic's feeling bad. Oh no. Evasive mouse. Leaping rabbit. Alright, well, we did that. Oh no, this is gonna be tough. Regular herb times 5 though, let's go. Black and white, 13 packs, the vessel's forms waver as they cross time and space. Ooh, hi! Hello! Oh my god. Can I use leave? Oh, I can't. Alright. What's through here though? There's 2 doors. Where do we go? Let's do this one. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Okay, this was a trap. This was bad. This was bad. I want out! Let me out! Hydration. Alright. Is it this way? Got medicinal herbs, which is nice. Oh, it's not this way. They're all around me. I wonder if that's what the sword is well for. Makes you wonder. We can use another herb. Ooh.
It seems we have been shut in.
I want that. Titanium alloy! That's good stuff! Alright, that's good. Ooh, another titanium alloy?
It seems we have...
Heck yeah, I'll take it. That's like some really good level ups though. Oh gosh, though, that damage. Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Why is there so many of them? Slap, 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 slap. Please tell me I killed that one. I did not kill that one. Oh, I also didn't kill that one. Alright, both of you are dead now. Oh my gosh. Good boss time?
It seems we have been shut in.
Yeah, boss time. Please tell me you're not gonna throw these guys out during the boss fight. That would just be rude. Alright, just make sure that they are actually dead. Good thing we have a spear that lunges us forward. Goodness gracious, I don't know what we would do without this. Best weapon. Okay. There's some other creatures. Let's take out this guy though first. I don't like you. Oh my goodness. Alright. Down. Big spear. And slap. Alright. Done earrings. Wow, that was actually hard. 5 medicinal herbs though. My cough just wouldn't quit today. I bet KSC would have rubbed my back if I was here. Aww. The song of a man has been drowned out. In its place, the scream of something inhuman. Oh no. Oh gosh. Alright. I wonder what the hardest one's going to be like. I feel like it's going to be extremely difficult. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I feel like we should be able to kill these guys a lot faster, and that would definitely help out a lot with the difficulty. But we're in it for the hardness of guys. We love the thrill of the fight. Let's go. So I gotta ask, Muzzle, have you been to the end in your Minecraft server yet? Or your Minecraft world? Ooh. I poked it! It was fun. Is that it? Oh. One more. Got it. And a few more over there. I gotta say, I really dig the third-person shooter aspect of this. Oh my goodness, oh my graciousness. So many things.
I will send you to Jesus.
Nice. Well, the 360 version still has the end. I don't think you have the end biome though, but I think you do have the end. Wow! Alright. Oh my gosh. Destruction. Absolute destruction. Obtain a two-handed sword fool's limit. Oh, we got the sword though. The sky falls with the dragon. The world ends this day. Ooh. We're getting into some Drakengard lore here. I just love that move so much. It's very fun and satisfying to do. Ooh, I was not locked on. It just like rips their armor off as well too. It's very nice. Oh, I haven't been able to construct the end portal. Gotcha. Yeah, I actually set up a villager trading farm, which has been very fun. And I have, what do you call it? Apothecary? The guy with the potions, all leveled up as well. I have quite a few high-ranked villagers, so I can like trade ender pearls and stuff like that now. I love me some ender pearls, they are so fun. I usually end up dying though. Alright. Woohoo! You know, I should really be shooting. I realized this after the fact. I just said I really enjoy the shooting mechanic. Oof. You know, I do kind of wish there was a way to like level up your inventory though. Ooh, what are you? Beastly looking thing. Nope. There we go. Man, this thing is definitely strong. Alright. We are the gangsters, man. We rule this world. Oh! That, I don't know, there's just something so satisfying about that. I do like that move as well too. That is very satisfying to pull off that move. Oh my gosh. Another one? Oh no, and another one as well too. Alright. Well, that should help take care of it a little bit. Definitely aimed that the wrong way. I will attack you next. I should really get my winding blades out. That'd be worth it here, I think. Also, I just realized our magic bar is growing quite tremendously. We've got quite a bit of magic to use. And there we go. Smashed into oblivion. You guys remember the old Dark Cloud games? This, like, fighting mechanic really reminds me of Dark Cloud for some reason. Just the show-offiness of it. I should really play White Knight Chronicles sometime. That's an oldie. An old, forgotten game. It was supposed to be like the next big hit from level 5. The puppet priest collects the accursed prayers and polishes the vessel. But it was, it definitely did not go on that front. Oh. Oh, are we first person rail shooting? Let's go. Okay. Interesting.
Emotional damage! Where's the therapy button?
Yeah, I liked White Knight Chronicles. That was like my favorite, but there's a lot of issues why it failed. Part of it was because it should have really came to West, but it didn't. And then it really landed slash failed in Japan. So the funny thing is, right, Dark Cloud succeeded in the West pretty well. But when it came to White Knight Chronicles, it had a footing, right? But it did not make it to the West fast enough, and it just failed pretty badly at that point. Japan was over it. West loved it. I really wish I could have experienced the online play for that, because I hear the online play was like an entirely different game. I gotta say, I was not expecting a rail shooter, but this is pretty slow. It doesn't help that I have that homing attack. Yeah, it definitely doesn't help that I have that homing attack. Ooh, boar! Okay, that's pretty strong. Alright, we're good with that. We killed the boar. Man, we be strong. I do like how blown out the color is for sure for this. The post-processing is pretty fun on this. Oh hey, we're rating this as well too. This makes all the sense why it's so slow. We hate this taxi, guys. Nobody likes this taxi. Oh, is there actually something over there? Oh shoot, there's been stuff over there the entire time. We almost missed him. Would it have had us go around again if we did miss that? Good questions. Oh, is it up? No, it's not firing at anything. Oh, bats! Gotta love the bats. I bet a lot of this you could just spin and shoot. Are we going around for a second time? Game, don't do this to me! Are we done? We're creeping to a halt. I don't think there's anything around. Let's use a herb. We're gonna get more herbs anyways. Samurai outfit. Ooh. 4,000 experience. Recovery potions 5. 10,000 gold. Nice. How much do we have to be for the third one? 33. Actually, you know what? No, we'll wait on that. I don't feel like having a hard time with it. We did so much. We got 2 outfits. I wonder what we look like in those. How do we change outfits? Wardrobe? Ooh, are there outfits for Nier Automata is my question.
Something wrong?
I feel as if I've just awoken from a most unpleasant dream.
I know what you mean. That happens to me whenever I read it.
Aww. Wait, wardrobe? How do we... Can we just change it from here? Wait, but how do we change? I want to see the outfits. Is it seriously through options? Memorize? Items? Key items? No? Quest, weapons, bird, no? How interesting. It told me how to equip it at one point, but I totally forget how to equip it. Well guys, it is about that time of night. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're already kickstarted onto the second arc. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a fun and interesting one. We get finally answers, I feel, to a lot of our burning questions. I will see you guys on Monday. Have a great one. Bye!